And just when you thought the FTC versus Microsoft was done, well, we got to cover it one last time.
Oh, like they fucking kicked it into sixth gear. It was just boom, 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 boom all week.
No drop a gear, disappear.
No, just
stay right in the view.
let's keep going.
Let's make sure we all understand where we sit at this juncture.
I don't. But I will tell you, I am sitting at the Gamers 2 podcast right now.
Smooth.
It's your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry and perhaps anything else that might pique our interest.
Mainly that.
Yeah. Just trying to think of something that's going on this week, but I got nothing.
This week, nothing. Baseball's back.
Baseball.
All-Star break is over. And we're back to regular scheduled programming.
Haven't been following this season. I've been being a bad person.
Being a poo-poo head.
Poo-poo doo-doo head.
I've only gone to one game.
Yep. Have free tickets.
And every week we say we need to figure this out and go to a game, and we never do.
Yep. Terrible. Terrible, just terrible.
But because we're not spending money on game tickets...
there's some new games that came out this week that we probably also won't spend our hard-earned cash on.
Less smooth than the original transition, but he still got there eventually. Let's start with number 1. The Valiant for PlayStation and Xbox. Number 2, Mordhau comes to PlayStation and Xbox. So if you need some chivalry-esque gameplay.
Yeah.
And number 3, Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals for PC, PlayStation, and Switch. I played Oxenfree 1, so I might listen in. See what the reviews are.
Check it out.
Nice little story RPG type thing. Number 4, Manic Mechanics for the Switch.
Don't know if I'd take my car to them, but
I probably wouldn't. Number 5. Oh wait, Manic Mechanics. Is that the Overcooked one, but your cars?
Maybe. Sounds like the title fits.
I'm sorry. I need a quick, because that sounds familiar, and it was supposed to be on the Switch.
Good old Switch.
This is what you get when we're in the beginning of the podcast, and I have to look something up.
Doing switchy switch stuff. Dude, Woot had the Steam Deck for $200 and something. I missed it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, sold out real fast.
That would have been a chaotic couch co-op game where you and up to 3 fellow grease monkeys serve the car-obsessed residents of Octane Isle.
I like it. It's a good one.
I'm in. $25. Testament, The Order of High Human for the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
What type of high? High in the air?
Supreme.
High in the smugness?
Ooh.
High in the drugs.
Number 6, all of the above. The highest human.
All right.
Number 6, Exo Primal for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And number 7, Jagged Alliance 3 for the PC. As you remember, I was a big proponent of Jagged Alliance 1 and 2.
Yep, totally remember that. Well, it's precarious. So precarious.
Nailed it.
I don't know.
I feel confident.
I'm getting bad vibes.
Why you got a vibe? Just don't have any vibes. How's that sound?
It's my default state of being. Vibeless.
I am a vibeless person. That is how easy to quickly detect which way it shifts.
Yep.
I stay easy at 0 vibes. I can tell an earthquake years out.
I am a wound in the vibe. I'm a black hole of vibeness. I absorb vibe. I don't exude it.
A Wound in the Vibe is like a weird punk album.
It does sound like a weird punk album. Wound in the Vibe. There we go.
Another great guild name. Wound in the Vibe.
The funny thing is if we ever were in the instance where we had to make a guild, we would not be able to come up with good names.
It'd be Dead Albatross. We'd already
Yeah.
be done with it. It's just true. The wound in the vibe. The Widiv.
All right. Odds, evens.
Evens.
Going
'cause
evens.
It's already fallen asleep.
You son of a bitch. All right.
Ha.
Number 1, EA has formally announced Cliffhanger Games and revealed its first project.
If they had revealed Cliffhanger, just to like end the story now,
Yeah.
if they had said Cliffhanger Games and then not announced anything, it would have stayed true to the name.
That's true. I just immediately think of the movie Cliffhanger.
Oh, okay. I would have liked them to say, and our first game is, and then cut the stream.
Yeah.
Let it linger for like a month.
EA's not that cool.
No, but after a month, you'd piss everybody off.
They just probably wouldn't care anymore.
Be like, are you just not gonna assholes?
The AAA developer is based in Seattle, and it's creating an original third-person single-player game based on Marvel's Black Panther franchise. It follows news that EA's Motive Studio is creating a game based on the Iron Man IP. EA announced in 2021 it was forming a new AAA studio in Seattle, led by Kevin Stevens. It's an unfortunate name. Who's the former VP and studio head of Monolith Productions. He says that Cliffhanger Games is built on the values of diversity, collaboration, and empowerment. EA says the new team already features veterans who have worked on Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Halo Infinite, God of War, and more. The studio will also work closely with the team at Marvel Games.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Open studio, closed studio, open studio, closed studio.
Well, there's that. There is that part about the EA part of it, but I mean it'll be interesting to see what they do for the game, because it is a world that has a different couple avenues you could go down in terms of gameplay style and everything else.
Mm-hmm. I just hope we don't get like the rinse and repeat, like the
Arkham Panther.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in game form, where it's just like, oh, it's the same fucking game with a different skin on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So far, they've avoided that.
It's
because like Guardians is a very different game.
Yeah. Knowing EA though, I'm assuming
Iron
they're
Man
gonna
isn't out
go.
yet.
They're gonna go like they're gonna see Spider-Man and be like, oh, we need that. So it's just gonna be
Spider-Man, which is Spider-Man Arkham.
Yeah, Spider-Man, but Iron Man, and then Black Panther.
But
Same
Spider-Man.
thing.
Yeah, it can have that potential, but because they're at least splitting them up a little bit, we'll see. But it's I don't know what they're gonna do, because I think that's the cop out. That's the easy way to go, is to go Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
or at least Spider-Man-esque, like that combat style. You're not gonna have the traversal that you would have.
Yeah.
But that's only if you're focusing on just Black Panther, or if you're focusing on like the rest also of Wakanda. So like that's a character. The one with the oh god, I can't remember her name. It's gonna really bug me. There's like oh my god. There's multiple characters I can think of that I can't remember their names because I remember them from playing Marvel Snap. But specifically, there was the young girl in the Black Panther movies that had like she was the tech person that had like the pulse guns on her hands. And I'm like, okay, so you could just have like a kind of cast of characters that you can play at any moment type of thing. And
Yeah. That could be cool.
not just be Panther. Or sorry, not specifically be T'Challa. Shall we move to number 2 then? And immediately
sure
kill
can.
vibes.
Yeah. Well, there's vibes are not high on this week's news.
Are they ever?
They're not. I mean, we're very much doom and gloom.
That's true. Number 2, a former employee has filed a lawsuit against Pokemon Go creator Niantic, alleging systemic sexism at the company. As reported by The Verge, the suit calls the studio a boys' club and details biases of gender and race toward women of color. I read that with weird inflection. Among the allegations, the complaint says that the female employee was being paid less than a male colleague, despite having a higher level role and more responsibilities. Following a law implemented in January, Californian companies with more than 15 staffers must list pay ranges for roles within job listings. The employee learned she was being paid less than $10,000 of her current role's minimum. When she presented her issues to Niantic's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Director and Principal People Partner, which is a great triple P title, upper management was allegedly hostile to her claims of sexism. The complaint also says that executives told the employee she was paid below the pay range because she was discussing workplace issues with colleagues.
I love the
How does the last sentence make sense to them?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I love when companies have their their reasoning is something that's like, that's borderline illegal.
Because you were discussing workplace issues with your coworkers. What did we do every single break room we've ever been in?
Oh, that's what everyone always talks about.
This place sucks.
Yeah, everyone always talks about that.
I'll still never forget when we were sitting in our old break room and money came up.
Yeah.
Which is a frequent thing.
Yeah.
Money came up and everybody's discussing whatever. And I don't remember if it was Ty because he would have never backed down. So I don't remember if it was him or if it was somebody else. And we were just kind of bullshitting. And money started getting thrown around of like numbers people were making.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, who appears in the door but Brianna? And it's like, hey, you guys shouldn't be talking about that. And I think I looked at her and I was just like, why? And I was like, I get what you're gonna say because your entire position at this moment now is to protect the company when everybody finds out they're being screwed. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure she's gonna like turn around and walk back out because it's like, what are you gonna do?
She was probably like, it had to be him, didn't it? That son of a bitch. He's always the one.
True, that was. But yeah, so hey, Niantic, maybe don't lay off 200 some odd people and close an entire LA office and be accused of sexism within 2 weeks.
They're killing it. They're going on that Activision Blizzard trajectory. Maybe someone will buy them.
Also, I love the Californian law requiring them on postings to show pay ranges.
Oh, yeah, that should be like a federal law.
It should be, because it's absolute bullshit to waste your time going through an interview to find something like that you're not going to get paid for.
Yeah. Or they ask you, oh, what do you
think you're worth?
What do you think you're worth? And then you tell them, and they're like,
$2 billion.
And they're like, oh, this position is only for... It's for this range. We're sorry.
It's either for this range or, oh, we were looking for somebody with more qualifications. I was like, that's not true either. Now you're just fully lying to me, and I'm really annoyed.
Or you just don't hear anything back.
Or they ghost you. Everybody else in my life. The kick with the job range thing is good, but this is the problem it leads to, that if you don't have your shit together as a company and you post my job, and I realize that I'm making less than you're about to pay the new person, and this is after I've gone through X amount of raises, you bet your ass I'm coming for that money. Full disclosure, I don't work there anymore. Target,
which is retail.
It's retail.
They operate by different
standards, but New York State was raising the minimum wage to $15. This is 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
They were in the process of raising the minimum wage over a gradual amount of time to $15. Everybody had to be like $15 by, I can't remember like a certain date was the whole thing.
Yeah, they did it tiered.
Tiered, yeah. Matt's a different victim of this, but a victim of this as well. So we were at Target specifically for X amount of time before this whole thing started. I would assume I don't know. I'm not going to assume your money. I'm only going to speak from my angle. I was under $15 at the time. Well under. So and I had been there long enough to get multiple multiple raises throughout reviews and just normal things that we would get.
Yeah.
Technically pennies on a dollar because it's less than $1. It's X amount of cents, blah, blah, blah. Retail raises.
Yep.
Well, by the time that 15 got enacted, or whatever the new minimum was, it wiped out my raises because it just put us all back to minimum.
Yeah, same thing happened to me.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, the minimum gets to 13 and I was at like $11 or something. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, you got $2 more. I'm like, yes. But that's the minimum. So now you've wiped out all the raises you gave me, which should have been put on top of the new minimum.
So the guy or gal or whatever, the person coming in brand new that you're training.
Yes, the person coming in brand new that you're training is now making more than you or the same. And then there was the argument that I was having with people where I was like, it makes more sense for me to quit right now and have you rehire me in a week and go on loading.
Yeah.
Because they were making $1 more an hour and food was making another $1, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you were certain like cashier windows, you made more because you were in before store opened and you were, overnight shipping and everything like that. And HR was pissed with me for that argument. I'm like, tell me I'm wrong. I know what your minimums are. Everybody knows what your minimums are. And we know those roles make more. Well, that's not really true. Bullshit, it's not true. You and I both know for a fact you have now screwed over, and we were some of the least affected. Like in quotes of like some of the people got really fucked over. Like who was the one guy that was there for like 15 years that was always in the back? He was always doing cardboard and
Asim,
yeah.
Had
been there for how much longer than both of us?
Mm-hmm.
And that wiped out everything he had.
Yep.
It's like, just, dude, it was bullshit.
I know it's a retail thing, but like the more I get removed from, through other work and life experience and everything, the crazier I'm like, that place was fucking insane. Like,
yes.
Like how did they get away with that, and like why did we put up with it for so long? But anyways, on to other things that are insane.
And notice we all left.
Yep, everyone left.
Literally, I think there's maybe 2 people, and they were in lead spots that are still at the store.
Yep, Phil Bogan's still there.
Okay, that's 3, and that's actually also not surprising.
All right, on to more depressing things, or more downer, vibeless, down vibe. I don't know where we're going here, but whatever. Microsoft.
Vibeless down bad vibes.
Microsoft's $69 billion bid to acquire Activision Blizzard can go ahead after the U.S. regulator was denied an injunction to block the deal. The FTC was seeking to temporarily block the deal ahead of its case to prevent the acquisition entirely. If Microsoft had missed the deadline, it was liable to pay $3 billion to Activision Blizzard, which we're going to circle back to that. There's multiple news stories here, right? A lot happened this week. And unfortunately, we have to talk about it because guess what? Nothing else exciting happened. The FTC has since asked the district court to block the deal pending the appeals court's ruling, since obviously the FTC is going to appeal. Microsoft's response to the FTC's request, quote, "As we will explain to the Ninth Circuit, the FTC does not identify a single legal error in this court's reasoning," end quote. The district court denied the request. They said, yeah, how about we don't stop this from happening since you're a bunch of fuck-ups?
Yeah, how about no?
The Ninth Circuit Appeals Court is now in control in terms of any stay on the merger past Friday night, which is tonight, and a ruling on the overall appeal the FTC has filed. If you'd like a very good summary on events past and present as far as this is concerned, I would suggest Axios reporter Steven Tortilla over on Twitter. He does lovely little summaries of the court days and that happen. Although there's none going on right now, but there will be some.
Yeah, the quick synopsis is, well, basically everything you just said, but the kick is that they lost, they appealed, and then they got their appeal thrown out.
Well, the appeal,
they denied it.
They denied, so the FTC wanted them to put they got the injunction thrown out.
Yeah.
The FTC
or section 21 and 22 are both tossed.
Last I knew, the FTC had asked for them to hold the injunction in place while they go through the appeals process, and the judge said, no, you can just continue with the appeal without the injunction being held on.
Yeah,
which kind of makes the point of the appeal moot if they finish the
it's
acquisition.
impossible. Yeah, because it's impossible to rip something apart once it's already together.
The acquisition was expected to close on Monday. As such, Activision Blizzard has been removed from the NASDAQ indices. Basically, this is done as to not, quote, to not have an effect on the integrity of the index. So it's just like a temporary thing.
Yeah, it was also interesting because they talked about, I believe Microsoft's quote was when they were talking about the appeal was something along the lines of, they've done the cardinal sin of, oh God, I wish I could remember the exact quote. The FTC has done the cardinal sin of, not antitrust, of something, because they're trying to argue on behalf of one particular party and not as on the good of consumers and the general public.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, that is such a dagger quote.
This continues on too. I don't think that they are going to close the deal on Monday for reasons we'll get into. But
I would love for them to speed through this.
I would too. I mean, there is a chance they do that. We can talk about it after we get through the
Let's
UK
talk about
side
number
of
4.
it.
Let's head overseas and cover the UK side of things, since the CMA is still blocking the merger. Microsoft was looking into changes it could make to the proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard in order to win over the Competition and Markets Authority. Microsoft's vice chair and president Brad Smith said, quote, "We are considering how the transaction might be modified in order to address those concerns in a way that is acceptable to the CMA. In order to prioritize work on these proposals, Microsoft and Activision have agreed with the CMA that a stay of the litigation in the UK would be in the public interest, and the parties have made a joint submission to the Competition Appeal Tribunal to this effect," end quote. The CMA issued a statement in response saying, quote, "We stand ready to consider any proposals from Microsoft to restructure the transaction in a way that would address the concerns set out in our final report," end quote. While Microsoft has submitted a detailed and complex proposal that says there have been changes in the circumstances, the CMA says there is not enough time to consider Microsoft's submission thoroughly, and so has decided to extend the period in which to look at the proposal by 6 weeks. The revised period will now end August 29th. Although the CMA hopes to reach a conclusion before that time, at this point things are moving too fast, so we have no fucking idea if Microsoft will attempt to close the deal without the UK's approval. I would guess money they probably do. Pay the $3 billion to Activision Blizzard for not making the July 28th deadline, or negotiate an extension of the payment clause with Activision Blizzard.
I put a typo in there. It's actually July 18th.
July 18th, so next
deadline.
week. It's rumored that part of the proposal is for Microsoft to sell off the cloud-based market rights for games in the UK to a telecommunications, gaming, or internet-based computing company, none of which would work, and they would have to just turn around and lease it back to Microsoft anyway.
There's a chance, too, that they say, fuck it, close the deal and just pay the fine money. Because basically, I guess what will happen if they close the deal without legal approval from the UK can fine Microsoft.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it's probably less than $3 billion.
Yeah, exactly my point. So, like, maybe they just eat the fine, close the deal, and then try to sort the shit out afterwards.
It's probably less than $3 billion, and Satya Nadella is on record of saying, fuck around and find out. Not exactly that quote, but basically telling the UK, you want to play this game, I will play this game.
I appreciate Microsoft sticking to their guns on this and like committing 110% on this, which I don't know. Maybe it's because we are kind of like in the, we are a little bit more in the industry as far as like seeing and experiencing the stuff. But Activision Blizzard is like kind of worth the hassle. Like the amount of IP you get and the name recognition and everything, like, if they have to pay UK even like $1 billion in fine, they'll make it back in the next Call of Duty or two.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at the long game, like, so what if they have a bad couple years because they have to like write off shit? It's in like 10 years from now, they'll be like they'll be just dump trucks of fucking money.
And like you said, when Phil said it, I think it's worth more than $69 billion. So
yeah. So it'll be will be interesting. Things are starting to happen pretty quick for corporations.
yeah, I mean, arguably the biggest problem has already been resolved.
Yeah, it just gets weird with the whole CMA thing because if they don't close, it's in Microsoft's best interest to close the deal before the FTC can finish, but they can't really, without it being somewhat painful, close the deal without the UK being finished. So they need like the UK to finish up, them close the deal, and then deal with the FTC.
But I think if you're Microsoft and you're weighing your scales for the afterlife,
okay,
then you balance in favor of not dealing with the FTC. You've already dealt with it, so now you just want to wrap it up and be done. Because once they have to go through the appeal and attempt to rip it apart, it is much harder to do that once it's done.
Yeah.
And so if that means that you play dirty with the UK for a little while, who cares?
The other side of that, though, is it's easier. Like,
and do you want to pay $72 billion instead? Like, do you want to pay the extra $3 billion?
The issue is like the UK has like a one and done appeal process, whereas the US has like, like there's multiple appeals you can go through, and there's way more like legal avenues.
Right.
So it's almost like,
but it's the part for me of once you've completed it, they can appeal all day, but you've completed it.
Yeah.
And so you need to get that hurdle done, because if you don't complete it and they keep just appealing, then it keeps stalling your actual completion. And it'd be much bigger to complete it in the US than the UK. Obviously, you want to complete it everywhere.
Yeah.
But you as Microsoft could just say, while you guys review your stuff and decide to give yourself 6 extra weeks, we're no longer selling anything in the UK, and just flip the switch of UK servers down. And you go, all right, we're not even operating in your turf anymore. We'll wait till you figure it out and start letting your people start screaming.
Yeah, it's an interesting tactic. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of fun tactics they could have.
It'll be interesting. Monday, I'm sure we'll find out what's going on Monday.
Yeah.
Because they did say they planned on closing a deal on Monday, but that was...
part of the CMA just disappears, confusingly.
Yes, yeah. Although...
oh, no, it's my vacation time. I can't rule on anything while I'm going on vacation. I'm sorry.
It's interesting, like, you would think that Microsoft would be wanting to make a play to get the CMA to clear faster, but that almost sounds like they submitted a new proposal that was, like, purposefully complex. So it's like, what is going on here?
Because I think I think their play would be to close in the U.S. and then put the entire world's eyes on the CMA
and just eat any potential fine.
Who Parliament is already pissed at for not letting this happen. Because remember the quotes from Parliament of like, who are you actually working for? The FTC or us? And we're telling you to allow this. So now you put the entire world on the UK going, hey, did you guys read that paper yet? Did you review it yet? Hey. No, look at me. Did you review it yet?
All right, so if we think on a money perspective, it's cheaper for them to close the deal.
Yes.
And pay the fine.
Because we don't know what the fine is going to be.
We don't know, but the largest fine the EU has ever done is $1 billion.
Right, which is less than $3 billion, just for quick maths.
Yeah, and that's the EU, which is notoriously harsher than any other governing body.
And take a guess who's not part of the EU anymore.
The UK.
The UK.
All right.
And that's still to say that they could just do it, get fined, and then say, I'm not paying you your fine, and I'm just turning off my services in the UK. Fine, we don't exist over here anymore. And then watch that happen.
They could strong arm them, but I'm sure what will happen, because Microsoft is...
oh, it's going to be...
Microsoft's in the face phase.
We're going to mudsling the whole hell out of this.
They're not in their heel phase yet. They're in their face phase. Their face. So...
babyface?
They will... they'll accept the fine and then they'll negotiate with the UK some crazy wild deal that's like super PR related to where like
The fine is $1 billion, but we're only going to pay you half of that. And I'm going to give the other half to this charity.
Yeah, the other half is going to like fucking
youth development in some area or something.
Yeah. They'll do something to where the UK can't say no unless they want to look like a bunch of fucking assholes.
We don't really want to give the government that much money because you guys don't deserve it, but we'd much rather give it to this budding organization over here and help you guys like fundraise capital for a new studio so you can hire new talent into this.
Yeah, we'll start a $500 million fucking fund for games development in the UK.
Yeah.
And we'll open new studios in the UK.
That you guys will give you straight up $500 million. Then the other $500 million goes into a pot in which studios can come to you with proposals and you can award to them as you so see fit.
But they can only be put on an Xbox console. You can't be like, wait a second.
You choose who gets the money, we choose the publishing rights. This
you.
Game sucks. It's going on Sony.
Tangentially related, I guess. Number 5, Xbox will be supporting a third-party cloud gaming service for the first time. The Anstream Arcade, launching on July 21st. The retro streaming platform will provide players with over 1,300 games on the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One, including Space Invaders, Pac-Man, and Mortal Kombat. Its catalog includes titles from Atari, Commodore, Sega, Nintendo, and PlayStation consoles. Players will be able to choose between an annual subscription to the platform for $30 or an $80 for a lifetime access. The service will be available in Europe, UK, USA, and Canada. It's interesting. Opening the door to some possibilities. Third-party cloud gaming service. I don't know. I like the idea of this retro game thing, but I can't decide if I feel like that price is high or not. Annual subscription. I guess it's not. $80 lifetime access, $30 annually for...
The lifetime access one is interesting.
It is.
What is that? Like, obviously it means lifetime access, but...
It seems like a weird play.
But, like, what if you close?
Yeah.
What, like, how does this all... The shakeout?
Yeah.
Do you add more games over time? Is it just this single library?
Because if it's just a single library, then what's the point in it being a service? Which is kind of like the argument for all fucking services, but usually you get one thing and that's it. So it's like, not like for, I'm thinking of other things.
No,
I'm thinking of outside of video games.
No, I know that, but it's just me going, oh no, did he figure it out? And it's not to say that it doesn't have to grow or whatever, but I'm just curious of how actually large that catalog is.
Yeah.
And to host another cloud one is the cool part because that means you could just be playing stuff on anything at that point. And $80 for lifetime access to a pocket arcade, essentially.
Can you download the games and keep them on console?
I don't know.
Because that'd be interesting.
Can I just play them on xCloud?
That's another aspect. So if
just play
they're
from my phone.
Support third-party cloud gaming service for the first time. Xbox. I imagine. I would hope that it would be xCloud compatible
I would hope so.
If it's supporting. But who knows? I don't know how any of this fucking works.
You're damn right. Neither do I. Let's talk about number 6 then. Nikkei?
Sure.
All right, Asia reports that Sony Group will dedicate $2.16 billion to games R&D for the current fiscal year, which ends on March 30th, 2024. Now, more than Sony's What?
Did I fuck something up?
Which is now more than Sony's investment in electronics and semiconductors.
Oh, yeah, these sentences are weird.
Yeah, because they're 100% probably translated.
Yeah.
This is an 11% increase spent on this segment over the previous financial year and more than double the amount invested in fiscal 2020. So over the course of 3 years, they've more than doubled their money into R&D, which is more money than they're putting currently into their semiconductors and electronics, which is actually kind of wild.
Yeah.
It also accounts for 40% of the total R&D spending across Sony Group for this fiscal year, which is a total of $5.5 billion. According to Nikki, the focus of games R&D spending will be on live service titles and extended reality, products that mix digital elements with the physical world, such as AR headsets, which if they have a headset now, an AR one specifically, here we go. The company aims to dedicate 55% of PS5 game development spending to live service games in the current fiscal year, ramping up to 60% for the following year. So that live service for them is in an immediate first party things. The show, Destiny, Marathon,
Jade Raymond's game.
Jade Raymond's game, Last of Us multiplayer game, whatever the fuck else they end up doing. Those are the first few things I can immediately think of.
Yeah.
And obviously,
there's the Horizon one that they're working on.
Yes, that is also true.
And I'm pretty certain, based on what the most recent stuff is that we've got from Ghost of Tsushima, that's what we'll see as well. Is
potentially, I can see it with elements, but not necessarily being the whole.
Yeah,
the whole thing. And then also that could just mean other things. That could mean investments that they have, because they've now invested in a few different studios.
Yeah,
they technically have money in Fortnite because they've invested in Epic.
Yep.
So I'm sure some of that money's going there. So yeah, interesting.
It is interesting.
It's a wild amount of money for R&D.
Yeah, especially what they're spending it on.
The headset one is interesting because they're you just launched the headset. So are you already looking forward to making another one?
I don't understand the play on this one because they have this headset. The headset is just like the first one when the first one came out. The headset outstrips the console as far as capability.
Yes.
And then you factor in the whole R&D budget being spent more on the software and AR side of it than the semiconductor and component side of it. It's so we're just going to keep perpetuating this cycle of let's have AR headsets that we're not going to fully utilize, and we're going to have live service games that are going to be out of style in the next 5 years. And
not even just out of style. It's what do you...
I don't think they realize that the idea of a live service game, we're getting into MMO territory where it's if you are going to make a real live service game, that means a person is going to spend a lot of their time in that specific game, which means they're not spending it in other games. So having 50 live service games, you're just breaking up your user base into tiny little segments.
Right.
And they're not playing, one person isn't playing 5 of them. The one person's spending the majority of their time in one of them.
You are lucky that maybe one person is playing 5 of them.
Yeah.
But the majority is 100% backing into their corner.
Yeah.
They can't all have Nates.
I mean, you're
bastards.
You're definitely in the WoW corner, the WoW camp.
No. Why are you trying to pigeonhole me? Huh? I've played other MMOs, I'll have you know.
How many hours you got in WoW?
That's not what I said.
Pull it up.
No, absolutely not.
When's the last time you looked?
Probably a couple months ago.
Really?
I don't look that often.
Oh,
I think
why would you?
Because I think technically it shows up every time I log in. I think it pops up in the chat window, but I don't look at chat unless I need something in it.
Yeah.
If I don't need to buy something from trade chat, it doesn't exist. No one in the party ever says anything constructive or helpful, so I don't look at it.
That's fair.
Literally yesterday, or no, I'll tell WoW stories later.
That's fine. We do have a short Blizzard related thing that's a little one of the short ones. Anyways.
Well, fuck that. Let's talk about EA.
Let's do it. EA held a keynote specifically for EA Sports FC 24. Let's review. EA Sports president Cam Weber revealed that the company plans to invest $10 million into community-level football on a global scale. That's
It sounds like a lot of money, but I
was
don't
gonna say,
think it is.
That's not a lot of money if we're talking on a global scale there, buddy. If you
were-
said one country, fair.
Even then, that could be gone pretty quick in that one country.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's one thing to do it in the middle of Montana. It's another thing to do that in LA.
Yeah. I'm going to need some help with these names. I don't know if you know how to say them.
So there's some of these are not referred to in the way that they are written.
Okay.
So you got this, and
no.
I'll help you.
I don't have this, but
you 100% have this. I believe in you.
FC24 will be adding Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Okay. Germany's highest women's competition association, and Liga F, the top league of women's football in Spain.
Yeah. So La Liga is the men's league.
Okay.
Liga F is the female league.
Yep.
Frauen Bundesliga is the German league, and then just Bundesliga is the men's league. That's all. That's all it is.
German.
Yeah. It's the only difference.
Women's football will be coming to Ultimate Team, adding that EA Sports FC has signed an exclusive multi-year agreement to represent every club and stadium across the FC portfolio. And there's some new features, which is FC Pro, an esports platform intending to pit players together in a competition leading to the FC Pro Championship. And then FC Tactical, described as a turn-based version of the sports title, was also announced.
I don't know what the hell that means.
I don't know either.
I'm very intrigued by that. But I would want to know what it means.
I looked at like 3 news articles that were like talking about this FC keynote, and like I felt like there was not a lot of information in them. And I don't know if it's because like what they showed was not, there wasn't a lot of information, or if like articles are just written by AI now.
Yes.
The cover athlete is the dude that was leaked last week. I think we talked about it. This fucking Erling Haaland.
Yeah, pretty close, yeah.
And then it is releasing on September 29th.
Yep, about the right time for normal. Actually, I think it's a little bit later technically. I think usually they're mid-September, but
how dare they?
For their first venture on their own. So the FC Pro thing,
yes,
on the esports side, is probably just like a better ranked version. Is what I'm treating that to probably mean. FC Tactical, I'm only intrigued because FC Tactical could be entertaining from, depending on what they do in the actual mode, it could be something that could be portable technically to mobile as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, what does that mean? I just want to know what
it
that
kind
means.
of sounds like it might be like a Football Manager Super Light,
which Football Manager already has, by the way.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that's why I'm like,
so maybe they're trying to compete.
That's why I'm like, what does that really?
Maybe they're
mean?
dipping their toes into competing.
Maybe, but
and then the FC Pro. It's weird to me that they kind of accentuated the whole like cooperative side of it.
Well, so they have
together. So I guess that's kind of like a weird way of saying it.
Well, yeah, pit players together, but that's one thing to either put them all on the same team or to pit players against each other, I guess, the other way. So if it's together, there has been a mode for a while where you can play your individual character on a team, and then you like match up with 11 other people and play 11 on 11, each of you all controlling your individual character.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see if that's where they're going to try to do esports 11 on 11, that's good luck. That's wild.
That is wild. I mean, I could
a small-sided game of like 5 on 5 would be interesting.
Yeah, that's what immediately came to my head was like 2v2 or something like that.
Something, yeah. Go FIFA Street, I don't know. But I think my favorite thing I saw was they showed I don't know if it was the cover photo or what the photo was, because they had all the like all the character, I don't know, players, but the game version of them, not the human version of them.
Yeah.
in like a kind of collage, and it said FC 24 or whatever on it. And you're looking at it and you're like, that all look like Walmart versions of themselves. And so somebody had a side-by-side shot of that, and then a bunch of player lookalikes. And you're like, they just used the player lookalikes, not the actual player, to model the characters. So,
have you seen gameplay at all yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, I don't know if they actually showed gameplay.
I'm not really like worried. It's FIFA.
Yeah, it's
FC.
Yeah, it'll be what we know it is. I'm just curious if they tried to if it turns out they had to make changes for some reason, or if they are trying to stylize it some ways to try to differentiate it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm more intrigued with when they start showing these other game modes. What that means, because soccer is soccer, football is football.
Football. There's 26.
Guess how fast I'm going.
So you want to do 13? I'll do 13.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
Now for some stuff we didn't write full paragraphs on, but we just wrote a lot of them instead.
And there are some longer ones too. So
the Video Game History Foundation has conducted a study in partnership with the Software Preservation Network on the availability of games released before 2010. According to the study, 87% of retro games are, quote, critically endangered in the U.S., as they are difficult to play in their physical and digital forms. What was that the same rate as?
Same rate as 87%.
Silent movies.
Oh.
In terms of like being endangered.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I think all these things should be preserved. I don't like video games get weird. And silent movies, I guess, as well. But it's easier to it's easier for a lot of people to watch a silent movie because it's just a video file, a movie, whatever.
Yes.
Video games get a little bit weird, but they should be preserved somehow. I don't know how.
Tell me Nintendo just doesn't have their own ROM storage somewhere? Like,
that's a good point, motherfuckers.
Number 2, Razer is investigating a possible hack of its system that may have affected its digital currency, Razer Gold. As reported by Polygon, a hacker claimed to be selling Razer's source code and encryption key data for only $100,000.
What the fuck is Razer Gold?
I don't know, but if you had all of that data, why would you only sell it for $100,000?
Because it's not really worth anything.
That seems low. Number 3, the ESA says that Hispanic and Black people are more likely to play games among ethnic group demographics in the U.S. Wait, hold on. Are more likely to play games than other ethnic group demographics?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, you mean they just play amongst each other? What does that step mean? Its new report notes that 79% of Hispanic adults within the U.S. population are likely to play games. Meanwhile, 77% of Black Americans and 67% of Asian Pacific are also more likely to engage in the hobby, compared to 62% of their white counterparts.
I'd like to see an age breakdown of the demographics, because I bet that's a contributing factor.
Still means that at least across all of those ones, more than 60% of people are playing video games, or 60% of people at minimum are gamers.
Yeah, it was
in quotes gamers.
Yep. Or played a mobile game or once
have claimed they play video games, even if it's just Call of Duty or FIFA every year.
I would hypothesize that you would see average age increase as the percentage decreases. So going by this, Hispanics, at least I guess of the ones that they polled, are younger than the Black Americans that they polled, which are younger than the Asians that they polled, which is younger than the whites that they polled.
Oh, I guess I'm assuming that if you were to do this correctly, you would try to pull all of the same age.
Yeah, average age. And it doesn't specify if they included mobile games, because that would skew it, I think.
That would skew it as well. But I would like to see an age breakdown at the same time.
Yeah. Show us all the data.
18 to 24-year-old white, 25 to 30-year-old white, 31 to whatever. And then under 18.
Give us some pivot tables.
r/data is beautiful. Number 4, mobile games made $41 billion globally during the first half of 2023.
That one always throws me off.
Why? It says H1?
Yeah.
I had to pause. My brain broke for a second.
Well, you never see it referred to really like that.
Yeah, I almost wanted to say H1N1. My brain immediately wanted to finish it. During the same period, Google Play game downloads made up 26 billion of the 30 billion total.
It's kind of ridiculous. What? Did I mess something up? Talk to me.
Numbers
Talk
don't
to me,
make sense.
Goose.
Made up 26 billion of the 30 billion total what?
Downloads.
So 4 billion game downloads were not on Google Play. So
No,
Apple
they're
needs
saying-
to shut the fuck up about competitive
No,
markets.
They're saying of Google Play downloads. So Google Play game downloads made up 26 billion of the total 30 billion Google Play downloads.
What?
I don't know.
I'm having a mathematical losing my mind.
So they're on Google Play Store. There was 30 million apps downloaded.
30 billion apps.
30
downloaded.
billion. Of that 30 billion, 26 billion were games.
Okay.
I think that's what they're saying. I think.
Okay. I will allow that. That makes sense to me.
Listen.
That of 30 billion app downloads on Google Play, 26 billion were games.
Yes.
That I allow.
That still doesn't sound right to me, but I'm just going to
That's-
let it slide.
We're just going to go with it because I don't think that's right either.
It sounds really high.
It sounds really high. My guess is that it has to be something along the lines of no, because none of it makes sense in 3 different numbers. What fucking headline is this?
Just don't look too deep.
Just good thing this is a fucking short one, because if this is a paragraph, I'd be so fucking lost. Number 5, Dead by Daylight developer Behavior Interactive has opened a second studio in the UK. Sounds like it will be a for-hire support studio. Number 6, Microsoft has announced a new Xbox voice reporting safety feature for users to help consumers report harassment during in-chat sessions. With the feature, Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One users can capture 60-second clips they find harmful, then submit them to a moderation team.
Which is going to be totally overwhelmed.
Call of Duty lobbies are about to be
Oh,
terrible.
Jesus.
Number 7, Unity has unveiled its new feature, Safe Voice, technology that intends to detect toxic game behavior. The tool analyzes tone, loudness, and pitch to provide insight to game studios to maintain more positive communities. Sensing a trend?
Yeah.
Number 8, Google will now allow developers to include NFTs in their applications on the Google Play Store, but they still have to adhere to Google Play's real money gambling, games, and contest policy. Whatever that means, so just read it. Number 9, Cloud Imperium, the creator of Star Citizen, has acquired game developer Turbulent. The addition of the studio comes after the two companies have worked together for more than 10 years on developing Star Citizen, with another 10 minimum ahead of them.
I can't believe that fucking game, bro.
There's a dude at work that plays it. I was harassing him today about it.
Does he? I mean, I'm assuming he likes it and it's good.
Yeah, he does. He was a big Elite Dangerous person. He has the whole flight stick and plays it in VR and stuff. And he's talking about how he's been playing Star Citizen. And
Is he picking up that Pimax crystal?
I have no idea. So, the one coworker and I that are pretty decent together, like friends, he sits right next to him, and we all talk games and whatever. And every time he brings up that he's playing Star Citizen, him and I both look at each other and just like, but why? What's wrong? And just harass him about it.
Oh. Fantastic. As you should.
Oh, yeah. Tencent subsidiary Lightspeed Studios has acquired Destruction All-Stars developer Lucid Games. The team is due to support Tencent-owned Inflexion Games in developing its upcoming title, Nightingale. People Can Fly, the developer behind Outriders, has established a studio in Montreal. Naughty Dog's live-action adaptation of The Last of Us has been named in 24 Emmy categories. The series trails behind another HBO drama, Succession, leading with 27 nominations. Naughty Dog co-president Evan Wells has announced he'll be retiring at the end of 2023, and therefore Neil Druckmann is the last one standing.
And then more. The Last of Us Part 2 composer Gustavo Santaolalla.
I like that I got the first 13.
Has seemingly, you're going to love this one, has seemingly let slip that an enhanced version of the game, as in The Last of Us Part 2, is in development at Naughty Dog. That's what happens when you
That's weird. I couldn't hear a single thing you said.
That's what happens when you let Neil Druckmann drive the ship. All right.
What if we made another enhanced version of The Last of Us Part 1?
The Polish
Enhancer.
Enhance. The Polish games industry generated 1.3 billion euros throughout 2022, up 11% over last year.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
For just Polish games?
Just Polish games. CD Projekt. Fucking back's hurting on that one. The PlayStation...
While doing nothing.
Yeah. The PlayStation Access controller launches December 6th for $90. For reference, the Xbox Adaptive controller is $100, but I think it's more adaptive.
I'm mad at him for putting it in there. And that's all I have.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, though. I don't know if you looked at it.
Well, no, because the Access one's the circle one, right?
Yes.
And the adaptive one is the literal plug this into anything.
Yes.
A microwave. Fuck it. You control your microwave with the Xbox controller now.
Yeah. Media Molecule has updated Dream's usage terms, allowing players to use some of their creations outside of the platform's ecosystem. The developer clarified that it won't apply to all creations, but personal and commercial use of music, animation creations, music, animation, films, and art made in Dreams will be allowed outside the game. Users will only be allowed to use creations that they have made themselves. ARM is reportedly in talks with NVIDIA to bring the company in as an anchor investor ahead of its IPO. NVIDIA tried buying ARM last year, but the deal fell through due to regulatory challenges. I had to look up what an anchor investor is. It's essentially a large investor who is purchases stock ahead of an IPO with the idea of them basically it's that company who is generally has more like clout and, you know, financial wellness, basically puts their stamp of approval on there saying, hey, you can trust these guys.
Gotcha. They're the trust me, bro.
Yeah. They're like, I'm in. So, you know, come on, guys, let's get in on this. Employees at Sega of America, making up the Allied Employees Guild Improving Sega, or AGIS, has voted yes to forming a union. AGIS is partnered with Communications Workers of America.
As every union is.
Yep. Limited Run Games has announced the Gex trilogy for modern consoles and PC. The games are being brought to Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series XS, and Steam using Limited Run Games' Carbon Engine. No release window. I'm not super familiar with Limited Run Games. I didn't realize that they had their own game engine and actually ported their own games.
They've started to recently.
Okay, so it's a recent addition.
Yeah. But Gex.
Sure. Never was my jam. Never was a Gex person.
Yeah, it's like you're about to be.
I guess so. A voice actor has claimed that a remake of Need for Speed Most Wanted is coming next year. What's up?
The third time?
Third?
Second
Yeah.
remake, third most wanted.
Yeah, third most wanted. Third or fourth? Third?
Third most wanted.
Most wanted.
Maybe they.
I don't know. I think, honestly, I hate to say this.
Need for Speed needs to die.
Yes. The only game you should be remaking in the Need for Speed franchise.
Now, this will be an interesting finish to sentence.
Is Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed.
Wow, Jesus Christ. The only thing worse you could have said was Carbon.
Listen, Porsche Unleashed. Chef's kiss.
Underground 2. Remake the actual
No,
Most Wanted and
we
don't
need a
change
couple
anything
more
about it.
years because the whole sex spec side of cars is starting to come back. So we need a couple more years for then
Before
Underground.
and Underground 2, yeah. I would also take an actual remaster of the original Most Wanted. Like, do not change everything like you did in the attempted Most Wanted 2. Just remaster it. Just give me new visuals.
Yeah, I think at this point, though, the smart choice would be to just let Need for Speed sleep for a few years.
Let Codemasters just do something.
Yeah, and then bring it back with some actual good.
Because that's the
ideas.
other thing. Is technically this should be Codemasters Need for Speed.
Yeah,
Which is promising that maybe they wouldn't use the same terrible driving that Need for Speed has had.
What if they turned Need for Speed into a simulator, like something more like GT7?
What if they turned it into a street racing simulator?
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. I'd be down.
Except it's Burnout. You are driving in VR, crashing through things.
I really enjoyed the first Midnight Run from Rockstar. I could take another Midnight Run.
You want Midnight Dub? Was it Midnight Club Dub Edition or whatever? The one that came out right before.
Yeah, Midnight Club.
Yeah,
Is it Club or Run?
Club, I think.
Why do I keep fucking those
There
up?
might be a run at some point, but I specifically
Midnight Club. Midnight Club.
I specifically remember the cover for Club.
Yeah. Homelander.
Midnight Run is what we make to Taco Bell.
Yeah. And then again to the bathroom. Homelander has seemingly been confirmed as a DLC character for Mortal Kombat 1.
And is also in Call of Duty.
Is he?
There's a Boys X Call of Duty Warzone promotion right now. I think it's Homelander, Black Noir, Starlight.
Those are good crossovers. I do have to admit.
There is a loading screen of somebody as Homelander just holding on to like an M16, and you're just like, this is Call of Duty in 2023.
Wild. ID at Xbox Demo Fest was this week, but you have until the 17th to play over 20 demos.
So many.
Surprising no one, Respawn Entertainment is currently recruiting team members for what is presumably a third Star Wars Jedi game.
What? No way.
According to journalist Jez Corden, Blizzard is developing StarCraft 3.
Well, let's wait till the Xbox thing goes through, all right?
All right. And then finally, a late addition by Nate. Ubisoft has announced how do you say that? OWO? OWO?
I'm going to say OWO.
OWO? An OWO haptic gaming suit for Assassin's Creed Mirage. Jeff Keighley is saying it'll be $500.
It's like a vest.
I've seen it. I don't know if the same company does them. I don't know. I feel like I've seen this company before. I'm not sure if it's the one I'm thinking of, but there is essentially a seat cover that you can get that was kind of making its rounds in the sim racing world.
For the same idea.
With the same idea. It's got those haptic pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vibrates.
Yep.
Rumbles.
Yep.
I don't know what Mirage is going to do if I'm going to actually feel like I got slashed with a sword across my chest, but you can hey, just for the record, you can get the same feeling if you just have your buddy stand by with a 2x4. Just every time you get hit, he hits you.
The idea is interesting, but as per all weird tech like this, it's too expensive.
And then if you need to have the simulation feel for where you jump off the building and land, just strap electrodes to your chest.
Yeah.
Like the pregnancy simulator ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're meant to like cramp you so hard that
it feels like
contractions.
Yep.
So yeah, just get those and place those across your body, and then when you land off the top of a building, have somebody press the button for you. You'll fucking feel like you're in the game for sure.
I saw the video, and it was like a demo of like someone was wearing the shirt but they had like VR goggles on. And I went to a Gundam reference, and it was the fabulous G Gundam.
Oh, of course.
Because that Gundam is unique in that you don't sit in a cockpit and pilot it like a traditional Gundam, like with a chair and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
You get into this spherical all display
Bubble
room essentially, and then you get a suit like suctioned onto you.
Oh, so you're like real steel.
Yeah, you're like you're doing the motions essentially.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we're getting there. We're almost there.
We're so close. Between that, Real Steel, and Evangelion, one of these will be real.
Yeah, Evangelion's bad because you're fucking breathing. You're not breathing air. They fucking pump. They pump the cockpit in that anime full of fucking fluid.
Yeah,
It's basically
you are the suit.
It's basically the fucking fluid inside a womb.
Embryonic fluid.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
But my son's in there. Mom? Fucking show.
You're not wrong.
I know. I watched the review of it. What was the Mega 64 video? All of Evangelion in 7 minutes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it's been 7 days. What you been up to?
Not much. I hurt my back.
Good start.
I think I have a disc bulge or rupture, and so
you've really did it then.
I've been basically if I'm not at work in excruciating pain, I'm laying on the floor icing my back and or stretching. So that's been my
nice. Good job.
It's been my. I'm just start. That's why I took today off because I need like 3 days in a row where I can just like lay down.
Did we get the how you manage that?
I have no idea.
Okay, never mind. Not a fun story.
Nope. No idea. Just happens. It's happened to me before. And it's always completely random to where I will severely injure my back and then like I will be out of commission for like 3 or 4 days and then I go back to fine. I go back normal. Everything's fine. And it's like an every 6 months, every year type situation.
Oh, honey, is it that time of the year for you? Yep, back went out.
Yep. So that's what makes me think it's like we got some disc issues going on there. Because if it was sciatica, it would be more consistent.
Sure. Yeah. I'm no doctor, but that sounds correct.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm no meteorologist, but
so that's fun. But no games really. Unfortunately.
You can drive with a bad back.
Yeah, still trying to figure out that whole thing because I need to order things. I haven't ordered anything. Well, I might need to take a trip down to Micro Center. So
it's a dangerous trip.
It is. So trying to figure that out because the monitor stand I want, they carry. If I order it and have it shipped, it's like gonna be
double the price probably.
Yeah, it's gonna be like easily to probably like close to $200 more. So
yeah,
I'd rather just take the trip down there. It's 10-15 minutes away from the IKEA in Jersey, so
make a whole day of it.
Make a IKEA.
Do we also do anything from IKEA like meatballs?
So that's where I'm at in life. Where are you at?
World of Warcraft. New patches out. We heard new half patches out, so I've been playing that. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Good.
We're back.
Yeah, never gone. Any big changes? Any big additions?
New specialization for the evoker.
Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned
we got augmentation evokers, and people don't understand how they work because the community at large doesn't pay attention to any fucking news.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So
that's a microcosm for
life,
the entire world.
Yeah, they are a buff class, which is to say they are like a bard.
Yes.
Buffs
and debuffs or just buffs?
Some debuffs, mostly buffs. I play my loot. You do more things. Yeah. I do nothing, you do more.
I like it.
The problem is that everybody uses an add-on called Details, which shows your DPS.
Oh, so like why new do no damn? Sorry.
You did a very good 95% of the WoW community.
Yeah.
Because in Details you can't see the way that their hooks are written for their actual code of their logs. It can't see how to attribute the damage correctly. in quotes, correctly. But if you go to Warcraft Logs, the logging site where you can upload logs and like do a review and stuff, that does have the ability to read them, so you can see the actual or closer to the contribution that they provide over there. But it's still kind of broken.
So I'm playing an Augment Evoker.
Yep,
and I got my trusty add-on. What was it called again?
Details,
and it's saying
or recount or any damage,
and it's saying I'm doing
30k
damage. I'm like, well, that's not good. And then I go into what was it again?
Warcraft Logs.
And then it'll say something like, oh, you actually did like 55k.
No.
Okay.
It would say you did like around 130k.
Okay. Same idea, bigger number.
Much bigger difference.
Okay.
But meanwhile, in Details, so you're buffing me, right?
Yeah, buffing you.
So in Details,
I'm assuming I get like a percentage of the damage you do while you're buffed.
Yeah, because I believe the main thing is ability called Ebb and Might, which gives me 10% more damage done, 10% more secondary stat or whatever. So it's like it's a flat number that you can clearly calculate out.
Yeah.
But when in Details in game, it's gonna look like I did 177k overall.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I go look at Warcraft Logs, I actually did like 140 something k. Because now that damage has been reattributed to you.
Yeah. So it's basically saying like, if I wasn't there, you would have done this amount of damage, and what I'm seeing is the damage I contributed to the group. Essentially.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are going, "Oh, you bad," and then just kicking a lot of.
I mean, that's a. Let's be honest. That's a complex concept for some of these motherfuckers.
Yeah. They heaven forbid they read more than their class or anything else. So I once again am at odds with the majority of the WoW community.
I could see that being like a really big shift for.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. There are currently now that this exists, like broken problems.
Yeah, like that seems like there's nothing really in the game like that, is there?
No. This is the first time anything like this has existed.
That's weird. Sounds
yeah.
like it's going to be one of those ones that you're going to see in every fucking raid group.
We're into what's called the slippery slope territory.
Yeah.
And for fun, before this week,
I kind of like it though, because it kind of shifts away from the idea of like you need to just be doing big numbers all the time.
Kind of. I mean,
it kind of introduces the idea.
Yeah. That at least in game it's okay to look like that.
Yes.
But when I look outside, I know what you should roughly be at. But either way.
Yeah.
Arena World Championship, the PvP aspect, finished the weekend before this went live.
Okay.
There's no WoW Esport this weekend.
Okay.
Next weekend is when the Great Push starts.
Okay.
Which is each weekend there's a new group or a new set of teams that are meant to be pushing dungeon keys as high as they can.
Okay.
So it's like the MDI, but instead of finishing as fast as they can, they need to finish while also pushing as high as they can. And the tiebreaker for 2 keys is who did it fastest. So like if you're both at a plus 30, whoever was faster, they have the tiebreaker.
Okay.
This now will exist for that. It did not exist for the AWC stuff.
Okay. So
you're going to
spoilers
next weekend.
There's definitely going to be some WoW news
degeneracy
in the podcast.
Probably not next week, but maybe the
weekend after.
Because there's going to be sheer degeneracy.
I love this. This is great. I love this. I feel like the structure of WoW has been, I don't want to say stagnant. It's been too evolutionary. This is kind of revolutionary. And I want I'm sure
in terms of WoW, yes. Final Fantasy has stuff like
in terms of WoW, specifically WoW, because this exists
in all
other MMOs for the most part.
Ritualists and Guild Wars.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Just straight up bards in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Or certain. Oh god, I forgot about the certain ranger builds in Guild Wars. Oh.
Yep. And I'm curious to see how this plays out because I've
played with 2 of them.
I know very little. I've played very little WoW. I know very little about WoW, and right off the bat, I'm like, this is not right.
So I've played with 3 of them so far.
Mm-hmm.
3 different people.
Mm-hmm.
All completely randoms.
Yep.
2 did really good.
Yeah.
2 did they were at the bottom of the meters, but obviously I'm not like saying anything. I'm not going to complain. I know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And as long as I feel like I'm getting buffed and wherever I know what it's going to look like. And I did one dungeon with somebody, and he's like, "Hey, how did it like feel?" Because like obviously they don't know how it feels to have those like buffs happening. I was like, it felt good or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to like upload the log now so I can see like what the actual numbers were."
They're like a force multiplier. That's really what they are.
Kind of, yeah. And so they sent me the link to the logs. So I was like, "Hey, can you just send me that so I can like also see it?" And they were just behind me in damage. Like it was me, them, and then the other DPS were all within like 8K of each other. So we were all right there.
Yeah.
Then I did it with another one. I uploaded my own logs that time, and he was clearly the 3rd DPS, but it was maybe by like 15K difference. He was still well above the tank and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was doing the new dungeon, the Dawn of the Infinite, the new mega dungeon. 8 bosses, difficulty ramped up. This ain't your bosses. This ain't your mother's dungeon type of thing. You know what I mean? It's 8 bosses because then they'll split it at a certain point late, like next season. They'll split it into 2 dungeons, first half, second half, blah blah. So we're doing that, and one of the people we're playing with is an Aug Evoker, another random. And I'm looking at the logs, and I am tripling this person's damage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tripling everybody's damage, not just in game, out of game. And I'm like, oh no. This is not good. We are not going to kill things if I am doing this much more than everybody else. Because it is not a reflection at that point of me being good.
Yes.
It becomes a reflection of they are bad.
Yeah.
So, which is also still a little bit of them learning it, I'm sure. That Augmentation Evoker was still the second best person in the dungeon, damage-wise. Which is also not good.
Yeah.
Because that's how far I was gapping everybody. But it's been interesting to see. There's been some degeneracy that I've seen from like the pros, and I'm like, gee, oh no. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff that's about to happen.
Interesting.
They have new abilities and everything like that, and I've seen some snapping that has happened. I've seen some other just sheer bullshit. So yeah,
I don't know. It's different. It's different for WoW, so it'll be cool to see.
Yep,
it's cool to see Fallout.
But doing that,
Spectator.
Been doing MLB The Show, a little bit of Like a Dragon, not too much. And I raced a little bit because I got the seat now.
Yeah, got the new seat. It's cool. Folds up.
Yeah,
it's cool.
No way you're fitting that in her bed. It should be real clear about your advertisement.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
not fitting under that couch.
No.
It's still pretty decently out. It's completely out of the way, so like,
yeah,
it works. But it's funny.
It's not small though.
No. So that's all I got. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right then. We will see you guys in 7 days. Toodaloo. Bye bye.